here at the Growth Almanac, and I'm Ruby, a very passionate technologist, a strong believer in growth, whether it's in our personal life or in professional life.
Hey everyone, I'm Shrestha, uh, a curious mind, also passionate about growth and meaningful changes. And I'm very excited to talk on this topic today, Ruby. All right. So I thought we could talk about how marriage has impacted us or changed us. Because I know you've been married for 27 years and I've been married close to 2 years. So I really wanted to get some insights on how this has changed your life.
For me, I'll say it's a very positive change. Uh, I think it's because I have a very, very supportive partner and a good human being. But I do have stories of my early marriage. Let me say this. My husband and I, we were in this college together. We did our engineering together 4 years. After that, I would say, dated for 3 years, but it really, that was the India dating. We were both in different cities. We didn't meet. We didn't have like cell phones in those days. Our phone bills would grow if we actually called each other. So it was the day of the letters, actually, and a little bit of STD phone. But when we got married, we were living in Pune.
Mhm.
We were both working at Infosys at the time. And so the day after marriage, we're getting ready to go to work. Okay. Now, we had a rental apartment and we had those Godrej almirahs, if you know what I mean,
Yeah.
which has that one mirror. That was our only long mirror in the house. And we're getting ready, and I'm realizing I'm wearing a sari and I don't have the mirror to myself. It's like we're both bumping into each other, trying to get in front of the mirror. And I'm like, I got to share, right? So it was a very small incident, but it was like life changed. What
Yes.
we have to go one after the other.
Right.
Like, because before that I was living in an apartment. I'll tell you another incident. It's like we would come back from work
Mm-hmm.
and we want to read the newspaper. And then we're both looking for it. Like we're both scrambling for it. I'm like, I got to share my newspaper. Like these were very small things that we were like, life has changed.
No. And sometimes I think these changes can pile up, but how did you deal with it? Like, you know, living with another person, it's like you're getting a new roommate for life. You have to figure out their habits, their lifestyle, and I think that there's always that level of compromise or adjustment that's required. How did you guys go through that?
I think he went through more compromises than I did. But I'll give you another example what happened. So he's a very, very type A cleanliness kind of person. I'm the kind of person I'm like, I'll come back, I'll put stuff in some place, and then I'll take care of it later.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened was we would come back and my shoes, I would open near the door and I would keep my bag on the sideboard. Generally in India at the time, we had like a sideboard at the entry. So I would keep my bag on the sideboard. And next day in the morning, when I have to get ready, I would find the bag in the almirah and I would find the shoes in the shoe closet. And it didn't hit me for 3 days. On the third day, it hit me. I leave it there, but I find it here. And so I adjusted myself. I learned from that experience. Here's a person who did not complain, did not expect from me to do things, just took care of business. And I was like, I need to change and I need to adapt to it
Mm-hmm.
because this is the right way of living.
Right, right. And I can relate to that story a lot because my husband also happens to be the same way because I am somebody, so he cannot have clutter in the house, right? Like everything needs to have a space. And I don't have that problem. I can work anywhere. I think I've been in hostel where we live three girls in a room. So I was used to some, I'll take
Okay,
care of it.
I lived in a joint family of
Yeah,
25 people, so you can tell. But yeah, keep going.
exactly. Yeah. So when I got married, like exactly the way you said, I would find the kitchen squeaky clean the next morning, although it would be a mess when I would cook. And he would never complain, right? But for me, it was also that effort he was putting in, and I knew that the reason he was putting in that effort was because it means something to him. So I knew that, I always knew that's the right way of living, but it never bothered me, right? So when I saw that this means something to him so much and he's doing it out of love, I just felt like, yes, I need to get better at doing this.
I think what's important is just recognizing. So, some people may actually, it may not even hit them. They may not even recognize that somebody else is putting in this extra
Right.
effort. Or others, there may be people who may actually do the work but complain about it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So,
Mm-hmm.
the key here is don't complain about it. If something is important to you, just do
Communicate.
it.
Yeah.
And your partner is going to recognize the beauty of it. Maybe, like I said, in 3 days, maybe you saw it in 2 days, one day, I don't know.
No, I mean, like, sometimes you don't even recognize it because it's something so small that you don't realize. And then one day you just catch them doing it, and then I'm like, oh, okay, that's how this is always done, right? So I think, yeah, it just takes some awareness in your relationship and just understanding what that other person uh, likes in their life, what is important for them. And sometimes, yes, a bit of communication as well. Definitely.
I think so too. I mean, I have another instance. I remember these are just early days. So I come from a very traditional middle class family where none of the women work, and
Mhm.
it's a business class family. So the men would come in the evening, and the women would be like, "Okay, here's food, here's water."
Mhm.
And because it was a joint family, the kitchen was upstairs on the second floor, and we
Mhm.
had like all the men would be downstairs and all the women were upstairs. All our bedrooms were on the second floor, kind of thing, right? And so I had seen my father coming home, and then, as we grew up, my mom would send water to him first and then tea for him, like,
Mhm.
beta papa ke liye chai le
Mhm.
jao, right? So
Mhm.
we did that. And so when we got married and we came home, like when we entered the house, like I said, leave my shoes over there, bag over there,
Right.
wash my hands and go to the
Mhm.
kitchen and get a glass of water and say, here, water. Really, I did
That is so
that.
sweet.
And he came from a nuclear family. That wasn't the system. He's like, what's your name? I don't need.
I that is so, I mean, you can see how these small things that you grow up conditions you into thinking a certain way, right?
Yeah.
Like, it needs conditioning is so strong, and that's why I think a little bit of um taking that step back and thinking, okay, why was it done, and also having a partner like this who recognizes that this, you don't have to do this. There's probably a reason why it was done in your house, but that's not the way it has to be done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the thing about it is like just because somebody is doing something doesn't mean it's right or wrong.
Right.
It's what you've seen, what you've experienced. It's your experiences, it's your surroundings that actually shape who you are. And
Right.
the point is, you change over time. Every day you see something different. You're new. I've been telling so many stories. You
Yeah,
tell me some stories.
I mean, like, I've always seen my mom take care of the house. Honestly, when I was working as well, my mom would always take care of me when I was back from work. So it was very new when I came here, and my husband had it all figured out because he had been living by himself for the past, I think, around 9 years when we got married. So he had everything figured out, and I was so used to getting hot meals and like variety every day. So it was such a transition for me to even understand. And I think I liked cooking, although I never cooked before in my life. So I tried overdoing that, and my husband did recognize it, and he said, "You know what? This is not working. We need to start meal prepping.
Wow.
I know you like home cooked meal, and you need a variety every day, but there are other priorities in life." And so we started doing that. Both of us start like we meal prep for the week, and that has been such a life saver because I now have so much time for myself and everything else that I need to do on a day to day basis. And I was like, I'm so lucky that I have a partner who recognized this.
I hear you. And also the times have changed, right?
Mhm.
If you think about it, if I talk about my mother, she was a homemaker
Mhm.
and her entire life revolved around the family and her kids. That was her primary job, and she did it perfectly. I don't know how she did so much work, but she did. I can't do that. And then you think about us, where most of us, those of us who are working in the corporate world, 60 to 80% of our, forget about time for a second, even our brains, for example, our focus, what we are thinking about is not about keeping the house clean, making sure we have fresh cooked meals, etc. So if our focus is elsewhere, then whatever little time we have, we need to make sure that we make the most of it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm a big proponent of meal prep. I take it to the next level. It's like every fruit that we cut, it's all in small single serving boxes. Like literally, I have a second free fridge,
Okay.
refrigerator, just with every single thing that we have in our house is single serve boxes. Actually, in some ways, it helped my kids because anytime they needed fruit, they could just pick up 2 boxes, 3 boxes, whatever they need, containers, and they would, oh, I'll just take grapes and apples, or I'll take grapes, apples, and yogurt, like whatever they wanted. And that's how they got used to preparing their lunch. Also, we've got single serve meal for everything.
That's a good idea, Ruby.
Yeah.
And I remember having this conversation with you as well, and that you were the one who was like, you need to look into having single serve portions. And I was like, yes, because it makes life so easy, because these are small things which you don't really realize how much time consuming it is, from a mental space, right? When I cook every day, my back of my head I was always like, okay, what vegetables do we have, what can I cook today after work, right? And it just drains you
So
mentally.
I'll tell you this. I learned something about this recently. I was having a conversation, and this lady, she said, so you've taken some decisions that were not important for you as to what am I going to eat today? What am I going to cook today? What's ready? What do I need to purchase? You've taken all those decisions out of your day on a daily basis. You've put some time aside for it, but that's about it. Every decision takes energy. So it's not that you've taken out decision making, you've actually given yourself some energy to focus on things that really matter to you on that day.
Very.
Yeah, it was a very profound thing for me when I heard that from this lady.
Yeah, yeah. And it makes sense, right? You don't realize how much of your mental capacity goes on making decisions, these small decisions for your house or your life on a daily basis.
You
um
know?
yeah.
So
But
yeah,
yeah,
know
yeah.
what, Shrestha? We could go on and on this topic, and maybe we'll do it again another day. But it's been so good talking to you about this. I hope our listeners share their stories of how things have changed for them after marriage, or good, bad, ugly, any of those things. And if you want to talk to us, please do reach out to us, send us an email, and it would be really fun.